Hello, this is David and welcome to Breath of Fire 4, a review and retrospective history. Although the fourth part in the series, Breath of Fire 4 is the first chronologically, taking place thousands of years before the first game. Here, the designer set out to tell the story of the two dragon clans at their origins. Though rumors may have led people to believe that the title would appear on the PlayStation 2, those were ultimately unfounded, and the game was released late in the PlayStation's life cycle in 2000. Breath of Fire 4 takes a much more typical route with its storytelling than prior installments in the series. Myria has not yet entered the stage, though Dees does make an appearance. It's a classic good versus evil story, with the evil foe empire of the West fighting against an alliance of good kingdoms in the East. The evil empire is using forbidden ancient weapons against the alliance kingdoms, which causes many places to be put under a hex. Hexed areas cannot be traveled to, and mutated, grotesque monsters reside there. To put it into a modern perspective, it's almost like an evil empire is indiscriminately dropping nuclear bombs on unsuspecting innocent countries. However, the empire's dabbling in forbidden arts does not stop there. Millennia before the game takes place, an emperor attempted to summon the god Yore in order to unify the world, but the summoning didn't work as intended, which caused the god to be split into two by both time and place. The god that appeared first was called Folu, and he entered a sleeping state upon his summoning in order to wait for his other half. The game opens after thousands of years have passed, and the other half of Yore has appeared in the form of the young boy Ryu, which in turn wakes up Folu for his mission to unite both his body and the world under his rule. Although the story is a vast departure from previous titles, one thing that hasn't changed is the colorful cast of animalistic-inspired characters that all have a very distinct personalities. Ryu returns as a silent, amnesiac protagonist again, along with his power to transform into dragons, though that power is much reduced in this game. Ryu's other half, Folu, is the main antagonist with similar abilities, though he doesn't use them for good. Nina's back as the Princess of Windia, and she's just as airheaded as she was in Breath of Fire 3, although she's far more useful this time around, sporting the best recovery magic in the game along with powerful wind magic. Cray is your typical tank from the cat-like Warren tribe. He has great combat ability along with earth magic and buffing spells. It's just too bad that he's gone for half the game. Urshin, or Master in the Japanese version, is a mysterious robot with extremely high HP and defense, but he doesn't gain many special abilities until much later in the game. Urshin is also easily the most annoying character in the game because of her obnoxious quirk of referring to herself in the third person. Skyus, a dog-like red mage from the Grassrunner clan, Bo and Momo's clan, is a red mage and he can attack twice per round. Rounding things out is Ursula, a fox-like army commander also from the Grassrunner clan, and she's skilled with guns that hit all enemies, and she also has a wide array of black magic. The Master system from Breath of Fire 3 returns, allowing players to customize each character by having them apprentice under different masters found throughout the world. Whereas in Breath of Fire 3, you had to just gain levels to learn skills, here you have varying conditions to meet, such as the amount of items in your inventory or the number of fish that you've caught. I like this system much better because it doesn't encourage a low-level game, while still encouraging the player to find and complete everything possible. The fishing minigame also returns. Unfortunately though, it's lost its fun factor and has become a lot more tedious this time around. You'll be constantly snagging your bait on rocks and catching the same fish over and over and over again, rather than the one fish that you want. The Fairy Village minigame is back as well, but they require much more babysitting than they did in Breath of Fire 3, though the core concept of the town remains the same. While you're still restricted to battles with only 3 party members, all 6 characters travel with you at all times. The battle system has been revamped and is much more user-friendly, as you can switch out and change which 3 characters will be in your front row at any time, a system not seen since the first game. A nice addition is that those not participating in the battle will slowly recover lost HP and MP, and characters in the back row may also help you out by giving you unexpected buff or an attack. Also, multi-targeting healing spells will not only heal those fighting, but also those in the back row as well. I love this system and I wish more games took note of it. New to Breath of Fire 4 is the combo system, which allows certain spells or skills to be cast in a specific order to gain bonus damage or other effects. Casting 2 earth spells back to back, for example, will produce a stronger earth attack, while a fire spell followed by a wind spell will create an explosion-based attack. This is pretty cool, and adds an extra dimension to using magic in combat, which is sorely needed to boost the historically crummy black magic in this series. As impressive as the combat and magic systems are, the designers didn't do everything right and really dropped the ball when it came to Ryu's dragon transformations. The look and feel of the dragons are very disappointing, especially after seeing the impressive transformations in Breath of Fire 3. The dragon gene system is completely gone, though Ryu still finds pieces of Chrism with dragon genes hidden inside of them. But now, once you find a dragon gene, you can simply use it to transform into a generic dragon whelp form. After that, you then have to use another spell in whelp form to fully transform into the dragon, effectively using 2 turns just to transform, which pretty much negates any additional damage that you would have done well in dragon form. Graphically, Breath of Fire 4 is very different, not just from previous Breath of Fires, but from just about everything else that I've ever played. The new artwork is watered down and everything is painted with a pastel color palette, kinda similar to Paladin's Quest. The design of the worlds is a lot more generic though, following more typical Earth-inspired medieval, Arabic, and Oriental motifs, rather than the unique uses of fantasy and tribal culture that the previous games in the series had. There's also no traditional world map, it's just a brown screen with dots that you travel to. It's extremely uninspired. Capcom cut out quite a few scenes out of the English versions of Breath of Fire 4. A scene where Folu decapitates Emperor Sonil was removed, as well as a minor scene where Ryu attempts to spy on the girls taking a bath, and another when Ursula threatens to pull down her pants. Also, all references to Scius' alcoholism were removed. Breath of Fire 4 is my favorite in the series, up there tied with the second installment. The characters are nicely designed. Nina is finally a useful white mage with wind magic, and there are many secrets to be found, but it does have its flaws. The world map's completely gone, it's a point-and-click map with no exploration at all, unlike the previous games. The art style also takes some getting used to. A good amount of the game takes place in a desert also, and I hate deserts. I do feel like the localizers were lazy as well. For a full retail release, there's an unforgivable amount of Japanese text left in the game, and although there isn't a lot of voice acting, none of the voices or songs are translated to English. The horrid minigames of the third games have been toned down, thankfully, though many of them are still mandatory. Overall, though, it's a solid game, and the best in the series, in my opinion. This has been David. If you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.